call the Monday, August 5th, 2013 session of the Logansport Common Council to order. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Roll call, please.
Jeremy Ashcraft.
Here.
Bob Bishop.
Here.
Joe Buck.
Here.
Gary Fox.
Here.
Charlie Hastings.
Here.
Chuck Liddell.
Present.
Teresa Popejoy. Present.
Approval of the minutes of the July 8th, 2013 meeting.
Your Honor, I request we approve the minutes as presented.
Second. It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll call for the vote on the minutes as presented.
Teresa Popejoy. Yes. Chuck Liddell.
Yes.
Charlie Hastings.
Yes.
Gary Fox.
Yes.
Joe Buck.
Yes.
Bob Bishop.
Yes.
Jeremy Ashcraft.
Yes. Minutes are approved on a vote of 7 in favor, none opposed. Under comments of the Mayor Council, you will see an even larger pile of paperwork in front of you. I have submitted the proposed 2014 budget. I know you haven't had a chance to review it yet, but I would like to call attention to at least one particular line item in Board of Works, and that is for trash removal. I have requested enough money to eliminate what we know as the trash tax in the 2014 budget. There's enough money to do it. It's going to be something that we've talked about for a long time. The ultimate decision will rest in your hands, and as we get into this hopefully we'll be able to explain and have even more dialogue. But the proposal is there. I want to give you forewarning that I'm asking to eliminate the trash fee for next year. Are there any petitions or comments of citizens? Yes. Please come forward and state your name.
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Brew. I live at 1315 East Market Street here in the city of Logansport. I want to say that if you go forward with the annexation as you passed it, I know you got your fiscal plan before you tonight, I predict that if the citizens in the annexed areas remonstrate, that they will win for two reasons at least. On prior occasions, I've raised the issue about your fiscal plan's inadequacy because it fails to fund, to estimate the cost, and to fund the extension of water and sewer mains. I was at the last meeting here when your Barnes and Thornburg lawyer, Mr. Stevenson, said that it was his opinion that it has been a history of ordinances in this community that such extensions of the mains, not the pipes from the interior of your property as a resident up to your boundary line to hook to the main, but that the mains by history have been paid for by the residents. And I think that's not the history of this community. And I invite, as part of this, and I think this will come up in the remonstrance if that's what happens to you, I invite you to look at the history of annexation in this city. Because it's not a matter of interpreting ordinances, it's a matter of how has land been annexed to the city. In an earlier issue of your city code, around 1988, there's a history of annexation to the city between 1923 and 1988. And we're not talking about somebody who does a real estate development, but just citizens. Your position, as I read your annexation ordinance, is that any citizen who wants to get hooked up to a main pays for the pro rata share of the extension of that water or sewer main up to that new, the next citizen's property. And I believe that a historical research would show that there's no precedent for citizens having to pay on an individual basis. And I want to bring that to your attention because I think that is city history. The second reason why I request that you not go forward on your annexation as planned, I didn't read 2013-28 ordinance yet, the stormwater fees in the annexed area, but I can quickly turn to it and see that it says the residents in the area to be annexed shall not be required to pay stormwater fees to the city, and the city shall not spend stormwater fees collected from residents outside of that area on any projects in the annexed area unless the city installs stormwater infrastructure improvements in that area. I respectfully say to you, as a student of the law, this is illegal, this ordinance before you tonight, about that stormwater purpose. The Stormwater Management Board here in Logansport looked at the factors necessary. Last year, this time, you passed a $13 million bond issue to fund stormwater work. And that process involved the Stormwater Management Board, based on the law, looking at the factors necessary to establish stormwater user fees. They held a public hearing, and they gave you, the council, their expert recommendation. And then in July of last year, you followed that recommendation and approved an across-the-board rate increase of $7.47 per month per equivalent dwelling unit. And then in October, after you did that, October of last year, that board, the point is, they're part of this business. The board assessed that fee of the $7.47 against and determined to collect it from all property. All, no exceptions. It's in your ordinance, it's in their ordinance. And in a minute, I'll shut up and I'll tell you how it's in state law. It's to be collected from all property within the district. Then you issued your $13 million in bonds. That's a lot of money for this purpose. By state law 8.1.555, the taxing district includes, quote, all territory within the corporate boundaries of the municipality, quote. And that includes, quote, all territory added to the district, quote. By law, your stormwater fee is assessed against anybody that you annex. And under Section 7 of that same law, those rates are to be collected from, quote, all of the property of the stormwater district. If you do this annexation, and if those affected citizens remonstrate, I believe that one additional basis for them to win is, according to the state constitution, Article 1, Section 23, the equal protection provision, the General Assembly shall not grant any citizen or class of citizens privileges or immunities. This would be an immunity from being taxed, which upon the same terms shall not equally apply to all citizens. We're all to be taxed alike. That's the law, and please follow it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Are there any more petitions or comments of citizens? All right. Are there any reports from committees, boards, or commissions? Hearing none, under old business, Resolution 2013-24, an amendment to Resolution 2013-07. Councilman Bishop, please.
Resolution number 2013-24, a resolution amending the supplementing fiscal plan and, supplement, that's right. Fiscal plan and definite policy adopted by the resolution number 2013-7. Your Honor, I call for a vote on resolution 2013-24.
Second.
Resolution 2013-24 has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote on resolution 2000. I'm sorry.
I think she has
Is
I
there?
have a question.
Lisa Hanson, 2169 East 350 South. On the fiscal plan and the list of parcel numbers and acreage that is provided, the list of the new proposed annexation property owners and landowner, there's a discrepancy between your fiscal plan and what you actually have for list. There is about 50, it's about a 50 parcel number difference. There's only 7 parcel difference on the southeast side. You guys, in the fiscal plan, it has listed 86. The list came back with 93. And for the southwest side, the fiscal plan has 244, and the list came back with 279.
I agree, and we have pointed this error out to officials in the county. We know that there is a flawed system. Our records are only as good as the county's.
So, okay, my question there, and I'm okay with all that, I mean, as long as we get those, if we go and finalize that some of those parcels have been combined with other parcels, then we have to go with what is actually combined. So it could be back down to the 244, because from looking at the list, it looks to me like they got listed separately and they actually have been combined back to those landowners.
And we tried to get some clarification from county officials, and it appears that some parcels have been combined, so what used to be 2 is now 1,
Right.
but there's no clear indication as to the best records available are what we used. We pointed that out, asked for clarifications, was not able to obtain that as far as the exact parcel list. There again, it's the folks that helped us with this annexation have encountered that problem before and have
So
actually
if we're
been
able to figure out that those have been combined, just let you know from your list. I mean, because it's listed out, and I'd rather go shorter and closer to what your fiscal plan is than what has actually been presented. Does
I
that
can
make sense?
only say that our
And that would be
annexation
according to-
records are only as good as the records that are found in the county building.
And that's where I'll get them.
Yeah.
Is I'll get them from the assessor or the auditor, is the 2 places I'll get them. Is that okay?
It's okay with me.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there any other, is there any other discussion regarding Resolution 2013-24? All right, a call for the vote on Resolution 2013-24.
Bob Bishop,
Yes.
Joe Buck,
Yes.
Gary Fox,
Yes.
Charlie Hastings.
Yes.
Chuck Liddell,
Yes.
Teresa Popejoy. Yes. Jeremy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Resolution 2013-24 passes on a vote of 7 in favor, 0 opposed. Under new business, Resolution 2013-25. Councilman Hastings, please.
Resolution 2013-25, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, approving additional funding for expenditure overage of legal representation. Your Honor, I call for a vote on Resolution 2013-25.
Second.
Resolution 2013-25 has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Council, among your bylaws is a requirement that when requested, the resolution or ordinance is read in its entirety. I would like to request that for the record.
Okay. Whereas the City of Logansport is involved in litigation in a suit filed as Kitchell versus Franklin, cause number 09DO2-1303-PL-000011. Whereas the City of Logansport requires unappropriated funds for the payment of attorney fees encumbered by such lawsuit. Whereas the City of Logansport is required to timely pay any and all allowable claims. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, Section 1, request additional funds for attorney fees be taken from the rainy day fund in an amount of $673.03 for expenditure overage of Resolution 2013-13 funding for legal representation. Section 2, this resolution shall be in effect from and after its passage by the Common Council and approval by the Mayor of the City of Logansport, Indiana.
Okay. Is there any further discussion regarding Resolution 2013-25? Call for the vote on Resolution 2013-25.
Charlie Hastings.
Yes.
Chuck Liddell.
Yes.
Teresa Popejoy.
Yes.
Jeremy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Bob Bishop.
Yes.
Joe Buck.
Yes.
Gary Fox.
Yes.
Resolution 2013-25 passes on a vote of 7 in favor, 0 opposed. Resolution 2013-26. Councilperson Popejoy, please.
Resolution 2013-26, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, approving the funding for legal representation. Mayor Franklin, I call for a vote on Resolution 2013-26.
Second.
Resolution 2013-26 has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Councilman Bishop.
Do we have a running total now for this total cost of this lawsuit so far? Do you have an estimate?
I would have an estimate, year-to-date expenses in the neighborhood of $38,000 ballpark. It may be 40. I don't know
Okay.
exactly where we're
All right,
at.
that's fine. I just want to get it.
The meter ticks more every day.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Along the same lines, Council, your bylaws require a reading of the entire resolution upon request, and I'm requesting that right now.
Resolution 2013-26, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, approving the funding for legal representation. Whereas the City of Logansport is involved in litigation in a suit filed as Kitchell versus Franklin, cause number 09D021303 PL 000011. Whereas the City of Logansport requires unappropriated funds for the payment of attorney fees encumbered by such lawsuit. Whereas the City of Logansport is required to timely pay any and all allowable claims. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, Section 1, that the funds for attorney fees be taken from the rainy day fund in an amount not to exceed $11,801.20. Section 2, this resolution shall be in effect from and after its passage by the Common Council and approval by the Mayor of the City of Logansport, Indiana.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Call for the vote on Resolution 2013-26.
Teresa Popejoy.
Yes.
Chuck Liddell.
Yes.
Gary Fox.
Yes.
Joe Buck.
Yes.
Bob Bishop.
Yes.
Jeremy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Resolution 2013-26 passes on a vote of Charlie Hastings.
Can I vote?
You need to call it.
Charlie Hastings.
Yes.
Passes on a vote of 7-0. I was going to say 6 and 1 still. Okay. Resolution 13-26 passes on a vote of 7 in favor, 0 opposed. Resolution 2013-27. Councilman Buck, please.
Resolution 2013-27, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, approving the funding for the 18th Street Intersection Improvement Project. Your Honor, I call for a vote.
Second.
Stand by. Resolution 2013-27 has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion among council? Stand by, ma'am. I'll get to you in a minute. Go ahead, Councilman Bishop.
Yes. Your Honor, could you give the public a brief explanation of what this is for, so they'll know what's going on?
This is for scheduled improvements around the intersection of 18th and Main Street. This is a much smaller, scaled-down version of the 18th Street rehabilitation project that had been proposed some 4 or 5 years ago. This includes replacing 3 concrete bridge, they call them box bridges or box culverts. This replaces 3 box culverts at that intersection, also widens the intersection, and makes for a better flow of traffic. That's it in a nutshell. Still being designed. This is to help pay for, this will be the entire cost to the city to do the entire project.
And then I am under the understanding that the county is also going to contribute to this?
The county has given a letter, provided a letter last week, committing $100,000 to this fund. Our portion would be $260,000. The county's portion is $100,000.
Thank you.
Ma'am, would you like to come forward?
No, I can holler from here.
I'm sorry, I need you to come to the microphone so we can all hear you, and please state your name.
So you get on the sound system, they record this.
Yeah. Thank you.
Dorian Heimlich, and I'm sitting in the back row, and all our papers, 4 or 5 of them, one is about firearms, the other one is about, they're all different than what you're saying up here.
I'm not sure that you have the cover sheet is an agenda that may allow you to follow
Well,
along.
It's got the number here.
It should be in order.
The one we just had, it was all about firearms,
Okay, well,
And
we're not
one
to
is-
that one
We
yet.
haven't got to that yet.
and the other one was about,
Okay.
I forget. But we're all different.
Okay.
back there.
I think you may have the ordinances and resolutions mixed up. Some of them begin with resolution and then followed
Yes.
by a number. Others begin with an ordinance and then are followed by a number. So they're all contained in your packet. I'm very sorry for the confusion, but they should have been in order.
Well, they all had a rubber band around them. I don't know who mixed them up. We're lost. The whole back row is lost.
Okay. Well, see if you can find the
They
sheet that
started out
starts
in
with
order.
agenda at the top. All right. Okay, so is there any discussion regarding Resolution 2013-27? All right, call for a vote on
Mayor
Resolution
Franklin?
2000, I'm
Mayor
sorry.
Franklin?
Yes.
I'd like to request an amendment to this, that this be made an ordinance.
Okay.
I'd like to provide the opportunity for the public to have some input into this project. I know this was a very heated issue several years ago when this was going on, and I believe that because it does involve the expenditure of a good sum of money, that the public has the right to have a period of time to look this over and present their questions and whatnot. And I do believe that our guidelines indicate that the expenditure of money should go through as an ordinance anyway. So I'd like to request that this be amended to be an ordinance rather than a resolution.
Okay.
Second.
After you get a second, do you have a second?
Second.
Okay. After you have a second, council, if you would, the next ordinance number in sequence would be ordinance number 2013-35, if you would like to, if you'd like to amend it to be ordinance 2013-35.
Oh,
I think that would clear it up. So we would delete Resolution 2013-27 and change it to Ordinance 2013-35.
now, we can do that tonight.
Yes.
Do we have to take a vote on that?
Yes, you will have to take a vote on it, but I'm trying to
Does
clarify.
it have to be unanimous? Or just the majority?
No, I defer to Randy. Yeah, I believe it's just majority.
As I don't believe we've done this before, so.
It's happened in the past, but not with this council. Is there any discussion on changing the resolution 2013-27 to an ordinance?
I'm
I'm sure it's just majority. Call for the vote on the amendment.
Teresa Popejoy,
Yes?
Chuck Liddell,
Yes.
Charlie Hastings,
Yes.
Gary Fox,
Yes.
Joe Buck,
Yes.
Bob Bishop,
Yes.
Jeremy Ashcraft.
Yes.
The amendment to change Resolution 2013-27 to Ordinance 2013-35 passes on a vote of 7 in favor, 0 opposed. Is there any further discussion regarding Ordinance 2013-35? This is first reading. Call for the vote on first reading on ordinance 2013-35.
Chuck Liddell,
Yes.
Charlie Hastings.
Yes.
Gary Fox.
Yes.
Joe Buck.
Yes.
Bob Bishop.
Yes.
Jeremy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Teresa Popejoy.
Yes.
Ordinance 2013-35 passes on a vote of 7 in favor and 0 opposed. Resolution 2013-28. That would be Councilperson Ashcraft, please.
Resolution 2013-28, a resolution concerning the transfer of funds to the sinking fund. Your Honor, I call for a vote on Resolution 2013-28.
Second.
Resolution 2013-28 has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
Can you refresh my memory as to what this is?
I'm about to do that.
Thank you.
I just wanted to kind of get everybody up to speed what this particular resolution's for. This was brought forward from the Logansport Building Corporation, which I serve as president on. It was passed unanimously from there to the Finance Committee. Finance Committee's brought it to here. It started out back in December 6, 2010. Before I was elected as councilman, council voted 6-1. Larry Hood's the only one that voted against that. To amend the boundaries of the Ivy Tech project so that the $1.1 million in surplus bond money could be spent elsewhere. I stood and asked that the surplus bond money would be used to pay off the bond. I lost that argument, and council agreed to spend the money on a like project in the area. Throughout the 2012 campaign, I argued the money should be repaid. I cited Indiana Code 5-1-13-2 that deals with surplus bond money. Indiana Code tells us that if a bond is paid through property tax revenues, it must be paid back. January 2012, I took office as a councilman. Mayor Franklin asked me to serve on the Logansport Building Corporation. I accepted. I was elected president and began the process of returning the money to the taxpayers. On June 7, 2013, this year, the Logansport Building Corporation, we met and voted unanimously to transfer the $570,000 surplus bond money to the sinking fund, which that is paid from. Yes, the actual figure is $570,000, not the $1.1 million that was referred to back in 2010. On July 17th, the Finance Committee met and agreed to move this resolution 2013-28 to the Common Council meeting tonight. I'm asking my fellow councilmen to approve this resolution 2013-28 to finally, after 2.5 years, to return this money to the taxpayers. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion regarding Resolution 2013-28?
Is this the same money that we're now appropriating for the 18th Street intersection? Is that what this money was?
No.
What they were doing with it?
Originally,
Yeah?
Yes.
So we're appropriating money and then we're paying money back.
Originally, you amended that agreement to open up that area to go to Broadway or Market.
Right.
Broadway, I guess. And so, since that project has been abandoned, that tells us by state law that we need to pay this money back. So that's what this process has been going through. And it goes into a sinking fund. That money then is used to make the payment that we make on this bond, which is about $175,000 a year. And so then this money, this $570,000, will show over 3 years that will make that payment on that bond for us. So instead of actually spending the money, which we would incur the full $4 million bond, this is actually taking the taxpayer off the hook for the $570,000. And the money that we're appropriating for the 18th Street now, that's coming from what? Non-reverting
Yeah, non-reverting infrastructure.
Yeah, infrastructure. So we're paying cash for that instead of, we use this money. First thing, the state law says that we could be stretching the law by saying that project wasn't done back in 2010. I think we all know it was. So anyway, it tells us if it's paid for out of property taxes, we must pay it back.
And Councilman Liddell, I'm sorry, just as a point of clarification, I was notified by the state that they would no longer recognize the other project, the one that extended to Broadway, we had to start all over. They would not accept that definition that was in place prior to.
Okay, thank you.
Could you please tell me where the funds in the non-reverting infrastructure fund come from?
There's $100,000 a year. It goes back a ways. There was some seed money that was originally deposited into that fund from the state of Indiana when they turned over control of Market and Broadway to the city. It used to be a state highway through town, and when the state turned that over to the city and deposited about $4.2 million into that fund, it goes back probably 10, 12 years ago now. And then Logansport Municipal Utilities also makes a payment in lieu of taxes that's deposited into that fund to the tune of about $100,000 a year. So that's the two primary sources. But there's also been other money that's come from the state at different times for various relinquishment projects. Market and Broadway through the city, the East End Market Street project, and the West Side Market Street project. So it's been there for at least 15 years now, I would estimate.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion regarding Resolution 2013-28? All right, call for the vote on Resolution 2013-28.
Jeremy Ashcraft,
Yes.
Bob Bishop,
Yes.
Joe Buck,
Yes.
Gary Fox,
Yes.
Charlie Hastings,
Yes.
Chuck Liddell,
Yes.
Teresa Popejoy.
Yes.
Resolution 2013-28 passes on a vote of 7 in favor and 0 opposed. Ordinance 2013-25. Councilman Fox, please.
Ordinance 2013-25, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, concerning the raising of livestock. Mayor, I motion for ordinance 2013-25.
Second.
Let me get caught up. Ordinance 2013-25 has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, do we have any, and this is probably for you, do we have any land that is currently in the city that is zoned agriculture prior to?
I'm glad you brought that up. Basically, because of the zoning ordinance is Fringe and Logansport, so that would be 2 miles outside Logansport, anything that's zoned agricultural is the same, whether you're in the Fringe or in the city currently. Most of your agricultural zoning districts are only in the Fringe area, and those do currently allow livestock. So it would stay the same. They would just be within the city now, but it's the same zoning district whether they're in the Fringe or in the city.
Okay.
So what you're saying here, this ordinance, we really would not have to
Right.
pass this to,
Correct.
So
It's
another-
currently that way, and it would stay that way even if they're annexed into the city,
okay.
as long as they stayed agricultural.
I think I'll probably vote against this then, because I don't think if it's already okay, I don't think we need an extra ordinance.
Yeah. It was a good faith gesture, Bob.
Yeah, I understand that.
Folks being annexed had asked us for some
We got
guarantees.
another
Right,
coming,
some
just
some
like it.
paperwork on it showing
Yeah.
that you were going to do it.
So as
Yeah.
long as we're sure that that's good.
Yes.
I'm good with it.
Currently, what they're zoned is, if they stay that zone, they'd be allowed what they're allowed today.
Okay.
Okay, is there any further discussion on ordinance 2013-25?
It's just a technicality note on ordinance 25 through 29. While our clerk treasurer is a treasurer, she should be a treasurer on the
Oh.
ordinance.
I am a treasurer, though.
You are a treasurer.
Oh, yeah, they left the R off.
Can we consider that to be a typographical error, and we'll
Yes.
correct it next month?
Yes.
Okay.
Good eye.
All right, is there any further discussion on ordinance 2013-25? Please, Lisa, come forward, state your name.
Lisa Hanson, 2169 East 350 South. I guess we're having some confusion, and I guess I'm confused on what we're going to say and where we're getting back to what things are zoned and what codes are putting on them and under which act we're going to do this. If we're going to do, if these are under zoned per county, what you guys have for zoned area, what is industrial, what is ag, then that needs to be stated. Or are we going under what the Indiana code under SEA 285 says it will be per the code, per the DLGF for tax purposes? because there's two different coding systems and zoning that's going on. And I guess we all just need to be clarified on that.
Okay, when zoning is established, it's based on the local government. The state does have zoning, or it has agricultural and different things for taxing purposes, which are not the same. So the type of uses that you can allow on the property is based off zoning, and how you're taxed based on whether you're agricultural land or your industrial land is through the auditors and the assessors. So that's your tax, not what you can do with your property. So what you can do with your property is zoning. So there's two. There's one, if you're agricultural now, you're allowed to do X, Y, and Z, part of that being animals. That's in the zoning code. And if you're agricultural on your assessment card, that means you're going to be taxed as agricultural land. So there are two, and you'd stay those two, and you would stay the same on zoning, and I'm assuming with the assessment card too.
So for our purposes, can you clarify, because I've never been told then exactly what is zoned agricultural when you get south of there? Is all of that zoned ag other than the industrial park?
Some of it's industrial, some of it's ag, some of it's LR1, which is fringe residential, and it was shown on the last map that we had here at the annexation meeting.
I have
Last annexation.
a couple maps
Council
here if
meeting.
you want. Want to look at it?
Sure.
You need a map. Which one?
If you have both the southeast and the southwest.
And those are on the city's website.
And they were on the board.
Oh, aren't you?
Okay. So the green is ag. So this is all ag here. And then I-1 is industrial. This is AB here. And then this is ag here.
So waste management is all zoned ag according to
Correct.
city still?
Yes.
Lisa, I think the point that we're trying to make here is that we are trying to give you a level of comfort in the use of the property. It's what you can use the property for. We have no control over the way that the state taxes the property.
Right.
And that's another meeting on another day. This is only local use, local control, how we can set the destiny, the use for that land.
And I just want to verify and clarify that that's what we were doing based on
Right.
city ordinance and not...
It's for land use and not for taxing purposes.
And what you would be doing today would be allowed in the districts that are there today. And those districts are staying, as far as I know. They would have to go through a rezone process if not.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, that clarifies some things up there.
Thank you. Call for a vote on ordinance 2013-25.
Gary Fox,
Yes.
Charlie Hastings.
Yes.
Chuck Liddell.
Yes.
Teresa Popejoy,
Yes.
Jeremy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Bob Bishop,
No.
Ordinance 2013-25 pass, I'm sorry, Councilman Buck.
Yes.
I missed you, Joe.
Ordinance 2013-25 passes on a vote of 6 in favor and 1 opposed. That one threw us off. Okay. Ordinance 2013-26. Councilman Liddell, please.
Ordinance 2013-26, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, concerning the use of firearms. Your Honor, I call for a vote first reading, ordinance 2013-26.
Second.
Ordinance 2013-26 has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote on ordinance 2013-26.
Jeremy Ashcraft,
Yes.
Bob Bishop,
Yes.
Joe Buck,
Yes.
Gary Fox,
Yes.
Charlie Hastings.
Yes.
Chuck Liddell, Teresa Popejoy. I'm sorry, Chuck.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that everybody? Councilman Ashcraft.
No, I did him first.
Did you? Okay, never mind, whatever.
7-0.
Again.
Ordinance 2013 passes on a vote of 7 in favor, 0 opposed. Ordinance 2013-27. Councilman Bishop, please.
Ordinance 2013-27, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, concerning the use of fertilizers, herbicides, chemicals, and/or compounds commonly used for agricultural. Your Honor, I call for a vote on ordinance 2013-27.
Second.
Ordinance 2013-27 has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Councilman Bishop.
Once again, this is another ordinance I've checked. There is no city ordinance that pertains to that you can't spray your yards. So this is another ordinance, just like the one we just passed, that I don't believe that we need. We're just saying it's still okay to spray your yards. So I don't see why we're passing an ordinance that we already, it's not against the law. So I'm going to vote against this too. Just trying to keep the paperwork cleaned up here.
All right, is there any further discussion on ordinance 2013-27? All right, wrong meeting. Call for the vote, please, on ordinance 2013-27.
Bob Bishop,
No.
Joe Buck,
Yes.
Gary Fox,
Yes.
Charlie Hastings,
Yes.
Chuck Liddell,
Yes.
Teresa Popejoy,
Yes.
Jeremy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Ordinance 2013-27 passes on first reading on a vote of 6 in favor and 1 opposed. Ordinance 2013-28, Councilman Hastings, please.
Ordinance 2013-28, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana concerning the stormwater fees. Your Honor, call for a vote on ordinance 2013-28.
Second.
Ordinance 2013-28 has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote on ordinance 2013-28.
Charlie Hastings,
Yes.
Chuck Liddell,
Abstain.
Teresa Popejoy,
No.
Jeremy Ashcraft,
No.
Bob Bishop,
Yes.
Joe Buck,
Yes.
Gary Fox,
Yes.
Charlie Hastings.
Yes.
Ordinance 2013-28 passes on a vote of 4 in favor, 2 opposed, with 1 abstention. Ordinance 2013-29. Councilperson Popejoy, please.
Ordinance 2013-29, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana concerning the burning of waste and building materials. Mayor Franklin, I call for a vote on ordinance 2013-29.
Second.
Ordinance 2013-29 has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor, I just wanted to point out in this particular ordinance, unlike a couple others we just passed, there actually is something to this one. The people of the city can now actually legally have a small outdoor fireplace. A lot of people have, which it's been actually illegal till now unless you cooked on them. So I just wanted to point out that that's for the whole city, not just for the annexed area. Thank you.
Please come forward, state your name.
Lisa Hanson.
Hmm?
Just, if this could be amended, there's just one sentence under section C that says outdoor fireplaces approved by the underwriter's laboratory shall be allowed. Do we necessarily need that? I mean, if there's a situation that's called, because there are a lot of ones that are homemade, and we have there's people that can do very fine welding and make fire pits of their own. So we were just asking if the underwriter's laboratory could just be striked from that.
Just as a point of history, and I'm going to speak wearing the hat I used to wear as the fire inspector. That was the guy that went there before the fire. There were, it's been a while back, but there were some outdoor fireplaces that were on the market that were deemed to be unsafe. And keep in mind that this ordinance now applies to not just the area that is currently being annexed. It will apply to the entire city, where there are more exposures, where buildings are closer together than you would have out in the county, as you're mentioning. So that was the reason for requesting the UL or underwriter's laboratory provision to be placed in there. It's all a matter of safety and common sense, but the fire department needs to have that layer of protection there that protects not only the people who are having the fire in their backyard, but also the neighbors and the adjacent dwellings. That's the purpose behind that. It's not intended to infringe, and this really goes quite a bit farther than we're at right now to allow for that. But we're working with you, and we're trying to meet you and meet your needs. So that's the reason that that's in there.
Your Honor, the way I read this, I think it really takes care of what she's saying. It says the underwriter's laboratory shall approve outdoor fireplaces. But then it comes on down here, it says campfires and other recreational fires will be allowed on the condition they are contained in a fire pit or ring and burn clean firewood only. So your fire pit would be okay.
Yeah, that's the way I read it too.
That's the way I read it, yeah. So I think you're...
But
concerns
again,
are-
that was geared towards city residents.
Right.
Or
But if you have one of those outdoor
Current city
ring,
residents.
like things that sit up, you know, that people put wood on them, that would probably, I suppose, have to pass the test. Okay?
Okay. Is there any further discussion regarding ordinance 2013-29? Call for the vote on ordinance 2013-29.
Teresa Popejoy,
Yes.
Chuck Liddell,
Yes.
Charlie Hastings.
Yes.
Gary Fox,
Yes.
Joe Buck,
Yes.
Bob Bishop.
Yes.
Jeremy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Ordinance 2013-30. I think it's Councilperson Popejoy's turn.
I just read.
Okay, it's Councilman Fox's turn.
Ordinance 2013-30, amending the Logansport and fringe zoning ordinance accessory height regulations. I motion for ordinance 2013-30.
Second.
Ordinance 2013-30 has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote on ordinance 2013-30.
Gary Fox,
Yes.
Charlie Hastings.
Yes.
Chuck Liddell,
Yes.
Teresa Popejoy,
Yes.
Joe Buck,
Yes.
Bob Bishop.
Yes.
Jeremy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Ordinance 2013-30 passes on first reading. A vote of 7 in favor, 0 opposed. Bear with me. There it is. Ordinance 2013-31. Councilman Buck, please.
Ordinance 2013-31, amending the Logansport and Friends zoning ordinance sidewalk cafe regulations. Motion for ordinance 2013-31.
Second.
Ordinance 2013-31 has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote on ordinance 2013-31.
Joe Buck,
Yes.
Gary Fox,
Yes.
Charlie Hastings.
Yes.
Chuck Liddell,
Yes.
Teresa Popejoy,
Yes.
Jeremy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Bob Bishop.
Yes.
Ordinance 2013-31 passes on first reading on a vote of 7 in favor, 0 opposed. Ordinance 2013-32. Councilman Ashcraft, please.
Ordinance 2013-32, amending the Logansport and fringe zoning ordinance awning regulations. Your Honor, I call for a vote on ordinance 2013-32.
Second.
Ordinance 2013-32 has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Call for a vote on ordinance 2013-32.
Jeremy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Bob Bishop.
Yes.
Joe Buck,
Yes.
Gary Fox,
Yes.
Charlie Hastings.
Yes.
Chuck Liddell,
Yes.
Teresa Popejoy.
Yes.
Ordinance 2013-32 passes on first reading on a vote of 7 in favor, 0 opposed. Ordinance 2013-33. Councilman Liddell, please.
Ordinance 2013-33, amending the Logansport and fringe zoning ordinance non-conforming use regulations. Your Honor, I call for a vote. First read, ordinance 2013-33.
Second.
Ordinance 2013-33 has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote on ordinance 2013-33.
Chuck Liddell,
Yes.
Teresa Popejoy,
Yes.
Charlie Hastings.
Yes.
Gary Fox,
Yes.
Joe Buck,
Yes.
Bob Bishop,
Yes.
Jeremy Ashcraft.
Yes.
Ordinance 2013-33 passes on first reading on a vote of 7 in favor, 0 opposed. Ordinance 2013-34. Councilman Bishop, please.
Okay, ordinance 2013-34, amending the Logansport and fringe zoning ordinance, refuge disposal and collection station regulations. Your Honor, I call for a vote on ordinance number 2013-34.
Second.
Ordinance 2013-34 has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote on ordinance 2013-34.
Bob Bishop,
Yes.
Joe Buck,
Yes.
Gary Fox,
No.
Charlie Hastings.
Yes.
Chuck Liddell,
No.
Teresa Popejoy,
Yes.
Jeremy Ashcraft.
No.
Ordinance 2013-34 passes on first reading on a vote of 4 in favor, 3 opposed. Are there any board member comments? Is there any miscellaneous business, including matters not already considered? Would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.